Entire thing was recorded. Huh? Don't tell me this. Oh no, hold on.
Oh, you have to record also.
Okay, we are going live.
Okay.
So
Please do record this and
good afternoon, good evening, viewers. Thanks for joining us for the division of time uh, webinar by our own Kamal Sharma. He requires no introduction to you, having already gone through the prior webinar and Panchanga. Welcome back, Kamalji. If you can say a few words about yourself and then get started, we can get started.
I don't think I need to say a few words about me. I'm a student of Jyotisha. I have already done one webinar with the Vedic way of life that was regarding the Panchanga and how to predict using Panchanga. So that was a webinar which got a lot of views and a lot of good comments. So that basically motivated me to come up with a new idea. And I thought that division of time would be an excellent because no one is touching these kind of concepts. Division of time, both micro as well as macro level. How time was perceived, measured, and how it was in our ancient times during our Jyotish period, particularly by our Jyotishis like other Varamira and others. So how it was perceived, because there are a number of things right now that we measure in terms of units. There are a number of units. SI units are there, and there are a number of types of. We can time is also a physical quantity, so we measure time accordingly. So, for example, today we also measure time using seconds. So actually, how time was measured in ancient period and how different it is from right now. So we are going to discuss those things and also the macro level time, which is given in our epics as well as our Puranas and other texts. So that is precisely the today's topic. So I think I will be able to deliver just like I did last time. So fully, my name, my mobile number, and email is written below. So anybody who wants to contact me can contact me on these things. So should we start, sir?
Yeah, we can start with the Pratna Mantra.
Yeah.
Shuklam Bharadram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chadurбhujam Prasanna Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashante. Om Gurave Nama. Om Gurave Nama. Om Gurave Nama. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I have also written the same prarthana. So we did. I would like to do it once again. Shuklam Bhardaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadnam Dhyaye Sarvogna Shante Yo Rudrogno Yo Apsu Yo Shudishi Rudro Vishwabhunavesh Tasme Rudraya Namastu Om Sarasate Nama Vyam Vyasdevaya Namaha. So division of time. Now division of time is very important as far as uh, the study of Jyotisha is concerned. First of all, we'll deal with micro level. You are seeing currently that we are discussing micro level. So micro level means that the smaller units of time. We are going to discuss those things first of all, and later on we will move to the macro level. That is the bigger units of time, like yugas and kalpa and manmantras, etc. So in the study of Jyotisha, the quality of time is important. For every important work, ancient Indians have used a system of measurement of time in which it was important to determine the right time to do a particular activity, because Jyotisha depends on the quality of time. For example, in present day also, we whenever we do any saskara, for example, we have to do vivah saskar or marriage, we always find a good muhurta. We call it a muhurta. What is that muhurta? That is basically good quality of time. Portion has a very good quality. There are a number of systems through which astrologers or Jyotishis calculate these things. Okay. Now, what we have to do here is that, first of all, I have written that in modern times we have standard units of measurement like CGS. You all are familiar with CGS, FKS, and MPS, FPS system. For example, CGS stands for etc. There are SI units of measurements of particular quantity. So time is also quantity. We all are familiar with these systems. Any chemistry familiar with these concepts like SI unit of all the quantities. Okay. Now, time is also physical quantity. And it is surprising that in all these systems, whenever we attempt to measure time, the unit is second. CGS as second, MKS as second, FPS as second. So you have all the units, all the systems of measurements in which the unit is second. Now the next question arises is that, have the same unit been used to measure times in ancient times? Were our ancestors using the same units of measurements, or were the let other quantities keep them aside? Let us just focus on time. Was second used as a time measurement in ancient times, or were there some different systems? Today we use second, minute, hour, days, months, years very casually. For example, we say that 60 seconds makes a minute, 60 minutes make an hour, and so on, and so forth, up to years. So we very casually use measurement of time. We use units of measurement of time to describe an event. Any event we describe, we use these units of measurement of time. For example, this event happened at such and such time. Even our birth has a time. So we describe that event also in terms of time, that I was born on a particular day, particular month, particular year, at particular time, particular minutes, particular seconds. Some people also calculate seconds. The units that are in use today, we have evolved over a long period of time, and they have a long history. And first of all, I would like to show you that the distance and time are related. So I have written that since the distance and time are related, we must see how ancients have been using various units of measurements. Distance and time are related. I will prove it to you in the next slide. But let us see that the unit of measurement for distance were like anguls, width of a finger. So width of the finger we used to measure, or hasta, length of an elbow. Even today, number of people we use this system in their day-to-day life. For example, I always give this example that whenever a female is stitching sweater in India or stitching something, they always measure that with their anguls, with the width of their fingers, that how much have I knitted and how much is required to knit. So we use the width of fingers or the hasta, length of an elbow, for the measurement of length. Even today, we use this system. And you will be surprised to know that there was also an accurate method of representing and measurement of degrees with the help of our hands and fingers. We used to measure with the help of our hands the degrees. There is an accurate method of representation. That is not the scope of this lecture. We require a separate lecture at how by the use of our hands, how we represent various degrees. Now, I promised to show that distance and time are related. Now, let us see how distance and time are related. As already said that distance and time are related, even today we say that a certain place is 10 minutes away from a particular point. Why don't you say that that place is 2 kilometers away? Why do you use the word 10 minutes away? Because you always express distance in terms of time. We say that my school is 30 minutes away from my home. My college is 1.5 hours away from my home. We never say that my college is 30 kilometers away from my home or 20 kilometers away from my home. We use time in place of distance. Time and distance, they are related. And you can natural phenomenon like I have mentioned 3-4 natural phenomena. They testify this relationship of distance and time. For example, if you see the rotation of the Earth, now the Earth rotates on its own axis, and from the rotation of the Earth, what we decide, what we deduce is the measurement of the day. When Earth completes one rotation, it means that that is a day. One rotation of Earth determines a day. And what is the day? Day is basically measurement of time. We have seen in previous slide that we use second, minutes, hours, months, years, then days also for the measurement of time. What is a day? Day is comprising of 24 hours. So rotation of Earth. Earth is basically rotating. So Earth is also traveling some distance on its own axis. Similarly, the second point is that the time period required for the moon to revolve around the Earth provides the concept on which the Chandramasa or the lunar month is based on. So whenever we calculate a lunar month, we say that moon has revolved around the Earth, and this makes a whole month. So depending on the different systems, we have Chandramasa there. If we take lunar months, the months based on the rotation of the moon. So revolution of moon around the Earth determines what does it determines? It determines a month. Month again is basically a unit of time. Just like a day is basically comprising of 24 hours, month comprised of 24 hours, 27 or 28 such days. If we say that Chandramas, so that is an entirely different entirely different concept of Chandramasa. So we are not going to discuss here Chandramasa. We are here, that will require a separate webinar. So we will discuss it in a separate webinar. What is the concept of Chandramasa and Saurmasa, and how the this is the concept of calendar basically. So calendar system of ancient India. So we'll not go into that. What I am trying to establish is here is that the time basically, it is basically dependent on distance, or distance and time are related. So whenever moon completes the revolution around the Earth, we say that it makes a month. Similarly, when Earth completes one revolution around the sun, we say that an year has passed, 365 point some days, approximately 365 days. So Earth is completing one revolution. It is traveling certain distance. So it is revolving on its orbit, it is revolving around the sun in its elliptical orbit, and it is basically providing the concept of an year. So again, Earth is traveling some distance. And what we are measuring from that particular distance? The unit of time, that is year. So these natural events are periodic in nature. So these three things show that distance and time are related. So time is basically related to distance, and distance related to time. These natural events are periodic in nature. We all know that all these three things happen. They are periodic. They repeat over a period of time. After when one revolution of Earth is completed, Earth starts second revolution, and the second year comes. So as far as the present day calendar, Gregorian calendar, we calculate that from 1st January to 31st December, that's one revolution of Earth, 365 days is passed on approximately. It completes 1 year. So the process of observing these events provides measurement of time, and the science of accurate time measurement is called kalamiti, or which we call in English chronometry. So kalamiti has been very important as far as our ancient Indian texts are concerned. So number of Jyotish texts have discussed about kalamiti or chronometry. Chronometry is simply measurement of time. So we'll use the term kalamiti as well as chronometry. So think that that kalamiti is the word used for chronometry in our ancient text. So the Earth is constantly rotating around its own axis, as we already discussed, and this rotation occurs from west to east. You all are familiar with this astronomical fact. And because of this, sun appears to rise in the east and set in the west. Because we are, and in Jyotisha, we are using basically the geocentric perspective. It is not that we didn't knew that Earth is revolving around the sun. We knew that sun is at the center. This was proved way back by our ancient astronomers. But we only took geocentric perspective because we are basically living on this planet Earth. Whatever events occur, they occur on this Earth. So we take the relative motion of all the other grahas or other heavenly bodies also. Grahas and other heavenly bodies. Similarly, all the stars, just like sun is also a star. After sunset, they appear to be traveling westwards. So all the stars also appear to be traveling westwards. So sun and stars appear to be traveling westward just because that's why sun appears to be rise in the east and set in the west. The time period in which sun is seen in the sky is called divasa, or a day. Whereas the time period in which it is not visible in the sky, it is called ratri, or the night. Now in Indian, these are familiar things. I don't think they need much explanation. But now this, in Indian calamity or in Indian chronometry, day and night together are called ahoratra. What is the term used? Ahoratra. And it is from this word that we have taken this word ho, and we have taken this last word ra. That ahoratra has been derived. So we all know that those who have studied Jyotisha, they know that ahoratra word is the root word or etymological derivation of word hora has come from ahoratra. And ahoratra, what is ahoratra? It is full one day and night together are called ahoratra. We all know about how word hora has been derived from this word ahoratra. And we all know that the day as per Jyotisha begins at sunrise. So these two things we must keep in our mind, that what an ahoratra is. It is a complete day and night. Day and night together are called ahoratra. Okay. That's why Jyotisha is sometimes known as predictive astrology, particularly sometimes known as Arthashastra. Basically, there are number of branches of Jyotisha. Okay. And one is Hora, other is Samhita, and third is Siddhanta. So we generally classify this in three categories: Hora, Samhita, and Siddhanta. Siddhanta deals with the astronomical part. Samhita deals with mundane events, the charts of the countries, the prediction of earthquakes, prediction of wars, etc. All these things. And the word Hora, it means the predictive astrology. That's why we call our chart as horoscope. In India, we call it Kundali. Or in South India, I don't know what they call it. I'm not familiar with those words. So, and as we know that the earth as per Jyotisha begins, the day as per Jyotisha begins at sunrise. So, whenever sunrise takes place, the day begins as per Jyotisha. So, even if you are born at 2 a.m. on, say, suppose 14th of August, 2 a.m. of 14th of August, you are sorry, not 14th of August, even if you are born at 2 a.m. on a Friday night, as per Western calculations, you are born on a Saturday, but as per Jyotisha, you are born in a Friday. So your Vara will be Friday. Vedic Vara will be Friday. But as per modern time measurement, we count the beginning of day from 12 a.m. onwards. But in Jyotisha, the day begins at sunrise. And in ancient India, in ancient Indian calamity, that is chronometry, they very simple and easy methods were used for the measurement of time. So let us see first of all how the measurement of time was being done in ancient India. It is very interesting. And then we will see that how time was, whether the concept of seconds was used or whether some different system was used in our ancient India. So there were a number of methods used, like I have written some name of methods like Nala or Nadi Yantra. Nala Yantra or Nadi Yantra. Ghatika Patra or Ghatika Yantra. Both are water clocks. So we call them water clocks. Then there is Chaya Shanku. Chaya Shanku is sundial. You all are familiar with the famous Jantar Mantar, aren't you? Built by Sawai Raja Jai Singh. That is one of the example of a Chaya Shanku. Now, the oldest known instruments are the water clocks. And for example, we call them Nadika or Nalika Yantra. Because we will see that why we call them Nadika or Nalika Yantra. And the gnomon, that is Shanku. Shanku is known as gnomon in English. One of our earliest evidence comes from the Kautilya's Arthashastra. So if you see the Kautilya's Arthashastra, when I started digging deep into the history of this Indian chronometry or Kalamiti, I found that Kautilya gives an interesting reference. Since I have also been a student of history, so this evidence caught my attention. And when he states that the king should divide the day and night into 8 periods, each day into 8 periods and night into 8 periods, and perform various tasks in each periods. So he has given the duties of the king in his book. Arthashastra is attributed to the Kautilya, and though it was lost to us, but it was found by R. Shama Shastra, and he was the first to translate it. So I think, if I'm not wrong, in 1924, around 1920s. So pardon me, 1920s is the decade in which it was translated and found. So the king was to measure these time divisions either with the water clock or with the shadow of the gnome, that is Shanku. So either he was used this Nalika method or Shanku method. So two methods are there. One is given by Arthashastra is water clock, that is Nalika method, or Nadi Yantra or Nal Yantra. And second is Shaya Shanku, that is Shanku method, gnome, which was very much popularized later on. And you find a huge Chaya Shanku in at Jantar Mantar. Now, it was described for the first time in detail. Now, after Arthashastra, we find that it in Aryabhatta's book, Aryabhatta Siddhantika. Aryabhatta has written a number of works. And in particular, Aryabhatta Siddhanta, we find this reference that first time in detail. So, Arthashastra has been dated to the 3rd century or 4th century BC. So, and Aryabhatta lived in 5th century AD. So you can see that Arthashastra knew about these instruments. So we used to measure time even during that time when King Mauryas were ruling and Arthashastra was written. So Arthashastra date is basically 3rd century BC or 4th century BC, and Aryabhatta is living in 5th century. But first detail by Arthashastra, because our ancient texts have been lost to us. So we find first detailed description of these instruments in Aryabhatta's book, that is Aryabhatta Siddhanta. And after him, nearly every author of the Siddhanta, whosoever was Siddhant, I just described what is Siddhant. Siddhant in Hindi, it means, in English, it means principle. And Siddhant part of Jyotisha deals with the your astronomy. Siddhant part deals with your astronomy. So they described it in his chapter on instruments. So after Aryabhatta, almost every author of Siddhant, whosoever dealt with astronomy, he included it in one of his chapters. For example, Ghatika Yantra has been explained in considerable detail by Varamira also. Ghatika Yantra, we discussed number of yantras, Nalika and Nali Yantra, Ghatika Yantra, Chaya Shanku. So particularly Ghatika Yantra, when Varamira describes it, he describes it so accurately that he has given exact measurements to be employed while preparing it. I have not included those exact measurements here. He has given exact measurement that how much the width of this is to be kept, how much water is to be kept, how much width of the plate is to be kept. So exact dimensions with exact precise measurements are given to be employed while preparing it. And if I'm not wrong, there is a story of Leelavati. So you must all read the story of Leelavati, the daughter of Bhaskaracharya. And what happened to the Leelavati, how her marriage, her father ensured that her marriage should be done in proper muhurta, and what happened there. You must read that story. That will give you very good insight into what a muhurta means. Now, the water clock which was find mentioned in Arthashastra is Nali or Nadi type. The Arthashastra gives Nali or Nadi type. So first of all, let us know what this Nadi or Nali type of water clock was. The outflow type, that is the outflow type. What do you mean by outflow type? That this is the earliest type of used in India also. So the earliest type of water clock which we find mentioned in Arthashastra, I have given historical references. They are undisputed. Nobody can challenge these references. In Arthashastra, there is written that Nadi or Nali Yantra was used. It consisted of a hollow cylinder and with a minute perforation at the bottom. There was a very small hole at the bottom through which it discharged a certain amount of water in course of 24 minutes or 1/60th part of the day and night, or what we call ahoratra. So please understand this. What was a Nadi type of Nadi Yantra or Nali Yantra? It consisted of a hollow cylinder. Hollow cylinder was there with a minute perforation. At the bottom, there was small hole, and through which it discharged the water flow from through that perforation at the bottom. It used to, the vessel used to empty into exactly 24 minutes. And these 24 minutes, they were known as Ghatika. We later on see what a Ghatika is. So consider 24 minutes very important in our ancient chronometry or kalamiti. 24-minute time period is very important. We will see in like next slides why it is so important. Or 1/60th part of a day and night, ahoratra. Hollow tube is called Nala in Sanskrit, and hence the name Nala Yantra or Nadi Yantra. And this yantra in its different form is still visible in every Shiva temple in India. Isn't it? We all have seen Shiva temple and we all have seen Shiva Linga. What is kept on the top of the Shiva Linga? That is Nala Yantra. Now the use has changed. Now we used it only for the purpose of dropping the cool water or cooling down the Shiva Linga. So the water drops come down through that hole at the bottom of that vessel, and the drops come over the Shiva Linga. Once that vessel is empty, it is filled once again, and the Shiva is always, because it is said that Shiva Linga is basically a form. It consists of it consists of a lot of energy, so it needs to be cooled down. So it is advised that in all the temples there must be this Nala Yantra, or an hollow cylindrical type of structure, or a hollow, you can say, vessel over the top of the Shiva Linga, through which water flows over the linga. You all must have seen this in the Shiva temple, wherever there is Shiva Linga placed. This yantra is basically Nala Yantra. So by seeing this yantra in the Shiva temple, you can understand what a Nala Yantra used to be. So Nala Yantra had dimensions, particular measurements. So it used to empty in 24 minutes. Nowadays, this is not the use of this yantra, so we don't make it in that way that it empties in 24 minutes, because we don't use it for the measurement of time right now. So nowadays, it is being used just for the sake of your appropriation of Lord Shiva and cooling down the Shiva Linga. Now, historically, moving forward from 5th century onward, just that after Aryabhatta, institutions for timekeeping are attested at temples, monasteries, royal palaces, town squares, etc. Everywhere, the timekeeping devices was being installed. So all these timekeeping devices were installed from right from the 5th century. That is from the time of Aryabhatta onwards. We find number of references. Earlier also they were used. We have seen that in Arthashastra they were used. But now you find number of references of these things, and not even at particular place, at temples, at monasteries, at royal palaces, at town squares, etc., where time was measured constantly with the water clock, and the passage of each ghatika Or Ghatika, I already said that Ghatika means 24 minutes. It was completion of each quarter of the day. So the passage of each Ghatika, the completion of each quarter of the day, that is known as Pahara, or of the night, which is known as Yama. So each quarter of the day is known as Pahara and the quarter of night known as Yama, and was broadcasted regularly to the people by means of drums and conch shells. Conch shells mean shanks. So the parampara of blowing shanks, that comes from basically the measurement of time or kalamiti, and being meeting of drums also. So whenever there was one Ghatika, so there used to be drums or they used to blow conch shells, so that everybody must know that one Ghatika has passed. The next conch shell or the next beating of drums will signify that next Ghatika has passed or 24-minute period has passed. In the next slide, we will see how a Ghatika Yantra or was used to work as per Varamira. So I have only taken Ghatika Yantra, and I didn't took another yantras because I thought it would be very wise to discuss the Ghatika Yantra because it is very interesting. You always seen the Nal Yantra in Shiva temples, so you can imagine what a Nal Yantra would be. Now let us see what a Ghatika Yantra was and how it was used, how it was prepared, and how it was used as per Varamira. So Varamira, as I already told, that he has given explained in considerable detail. He has given exact details. I can share also those details with you, but I have not included this in my presentation. So if anybody wants those details, he can take it from me. You PM me, I will provide you those details from Varamira, or you can read Varamira's works and you can take it from there. Now, Ghatika Patriyantra, I have drawn it specifically with my hand. This is my hand. So pardon me for bad drawing. I'm not a good at drawing. So this is a ghat. This is a ghat. Ghat means, what does a ghat means? Ghat means basically a vessel. And this was a ghat which was used. And you can see, first of all, let us come to the picture, that what was done, that Ghatika Patriyantra consists a large container full of water. A copper vessel of specific weight and size is suspended within it. Now it consists of a large container full of water. So this is a container full of water. It is full of water. So I have written that water in the pot. This signifies water in the pot. And within that copper vessel, within that water, and copper vessel, within that particular Ghatika or Ghata or any vessel, a copper vessel of specific weight and size was suspended. This is the copper vessel of specific weight, and this is the copper plate. I have written it copper plate only. So this is the copper vessel which was kept suspended in the water, and this is the hole in the copper plate. So copper plate has a small hole in the middle. Varamira has even given the dimensions of this hole also. He has given the dimension of this copper plate also. How much this copper plate should be, how much angles width it should be, how much in weight it should be, how much size in angles is given the size, and units that used at those times. And he has given size of even the hole which is to be made within copper.
We seem to have lost Kamal Ji. We'll just wait for a minute for him to connect back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am back, sir.
Yeah. Okay, please continue.
Is my screen visible, or I have to share it once again?
Yeah, you have to share your screen. Yeah.
Okay, let me. So this is the screen where we left, I think.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Where did I lost? First point or second point?
I think it was second point.
Where was I? Oh no. Now this copper plate has a small hole in the middle, and this water flows slowly through this. I already told you that Varamira has given exact dimension even of this small hole, and this water flows this is an empty copper plate kept inside this this vessel. So the water gradually it comes down from this copper vessel into this copper plate. From this vessel, from this bigger container, the water started accumulating in this copper plate. So once the copper plate, as the level increases, the copper plate becomes full and it sinks. So when it sinks, takes for one copper plate or copper vessel to sink fully, that is known as Ghatika. So this is the method given by Varamira. I'm sure I'm clear what I have said. I'm sure everybody must have understood what I meant by what I said right now. So the time taken by one copper vessel to completely sink inside this huge water container, and even the dimensions of this water container are also given there. Not only the copper plate and this hole. Everything given by Varamira. Each and every minute detail is given by Varamira. So this one Ghatika is also known as one Nadi. It is equal to 24 minutes. So this is how time was measured, by using Ghatika Patra Yantra. So, and why are these 24 minutes important? In the last slide, I told you that these 24 minutes are very important because two Ghatikas or two Nadis or 48 minutes. The double of a Ghatika, it makes a Muhurta. One Muhurta is equal to two Ghatikas. So two Ghatikas makes a Muhurta. Even today, Jyotishis used, astrologers used this to calculate a Muhurta. Ki two Ghatikas makes a Muhurta. 24 minutes makes a Ghatika or a Nadi, and two Nadis makes 48 minutes. That makes a Muhurta. 30 Muhurtas makes one Ahoratra, 1 day and night. So 30 Muhurtas are completed, 1 day and night is complete, one Ahoratra. And there are further smaller divisions also, like one Vinadi, which is known as Pala, which is of 24 seconds, one Prana, which is of 4 seconds. So there are number of, we'll see these divisions in our next slide. Okay. We will discuss in details from other texts also that what type of measurement systems they have given for determining this micro level of time. So this is division of time at micro level. So trying to measure the smaller quantities of time. So and our ancient used to measure this in this way. They used to measure the time during the ancient period. Now, thus it takes 24 minutes or one Ghatika or one Nadi to empty the copper vessel full of water completely. So this was Ghatika Yantra or Ghatika Patra Yantra, how it used to work. I explained in detail. Any questions we will take later on. Now moving to next slide. Thus the ancient Indian system of astrology divides the micro level traveling following way. So what we deduce from here that one Lipta, approximately 0.4 seconds. It is known as one Lipta. Then there is one Vigati, that is 60 Liptas or approximately 24 seconds. Then there is one Ghatika, that is means 60 Vigatis. 60 Vigatis makes one Ghatika or approximately 24. So there are smaller divisions also. So other texts might have, there are a number of writers have written that, modern writers agree that Varamira might have also given simple preparation of measurement of smaller vessels, just like Ghatika Patra we discussed, to measure smaller units of time like Lipta, Vigati, or your Liptas or Vigatis. So I have discussed one only, that is the measurement of Ghatika. So one Ghatika is equal to 60 Vigatis. So there might be smaller copper vessel, smaller container full of water, smaller dimensions that used to measure these things. Okay. So this has been suggested by a number of writers, authors who had researched on these subjects. So one Ghatika makes 60 Vigatis makes one Ghatika, two Ghatikas makes one Muhurat, and one Muhurata 30 Muhurats. We discussed in previous slide these things. Now there is another interesting thing that Vishnu Purana provides an alternate system in its time measurement section. If you open the Vishnu Purana book, you will see that in its time measurement section, it has given important units of measurements of time. For example, it starts with one truti. What is the truti? Truti is twinkle of an eye. It is the time taken for twinkling of an eye. So twinkling of an eye makes one truti. 100 trutis makes one tatpara. Tatpara is another unit. 100 trutis makes one tatpara. 30 tatparas makes one nimesha. 15 nimeshas makes one kashta. 30 kashtas makes one kala. 30 kalas makes one kshana. So we casually use the word kshana in Hindi. One kshana. We say that it is 1 second. No, it is not 1 second. It is 30 kalas. Now 12 kshanas used to make one muhurta. So it means 12 kshanas makes one muhurta. It means 12 kshanas are equal to 48 minutes. So you can deduce that one kshana, how much it will be equal to. Okay. Now 30 muhurtas. One muhurta is there. 30 muhurtas again makes one ahurata, same as we just discussed. Vishnu Purana also gives the same thing. And 30 ahoratras, one mass, month, 6 mass, one ayan, and 2 ayanas, one varsha or year. So I have Vishnu Purana has provided right from the twinkling of an eye up to the whole year. Vishnu Purana has provided the exact way to measure the exact units of time for measurement of even the smallest level of unit of time. That is twinkling of an eye. That is truti. And the largest is one varsh or year. So from truti or twinkling of an eye to year, this is the journey of these units of time. This is given in Vishnu Purana time measurement section. I think it is in 3rd section. When I checked it, it was in chapter. I think I'm not sure. So you go and check Vishnu Purana, you will find these things. Number of other texts also makes all these types of systems. I have only taken Vishnu Purana as a system, as an example. So this was division of time at micro level. Now our task is to consider division of time at macro level. So similarly, when our ancients, they measure time in terms of micro level, our ancient also measure time at macro level, the higher level of time. You all know that time is known as Kala in Indian system. Kala also means that which destroys everything. So we say that Kali. Kali is basically the goddess of which consumes everything, destroys everything. And Kala is also known as the god of death. Thus, there are 3 Kalas: Bhutkal, Vartaman Kal, and Bhavishyakal. Why Kala is known as time? Because ultimately time consumes everything. With the passage of time, everything decays. That is the thing which ends everything. So one who is beyond time is indestructible. One who obeys the laws of time, one who is within time, he ultimately is going to end one day or another. Sooner or later, he is bound to die, he is bound to end. Thus, there are 3 Kalas: Bhutkal, Vartman Kal, and Bhavishyakal. We call them Kal, past life, present, and future respectively. So this is not our concern or topic right now. There are high division of Kalas as described in our ancient texts. So now I would take Bhagavad Gita's reference. So I found one important shloka in Bhagavad Gita 8.17, which has explained the concept of yugas. If you see the commentary of this shloka of Bhagavad Gita 8.17, chapter number 8, shloka number 17, it explains the concept of yugas or macro level of time. In macro level of time, I have taken the reference to Bhagavad Gita, one of the most sacred works of our Hinduism. So, according to Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 yugas: Sat Yuga or Krit Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. I'm sure you might be familiar with these 4 yugas. Now, all these 4 yugas together comprise a Divya Yuga, which is one set of the 4 yugas. So, one set of 4 yugas is known as Divya Yuga or Chaturyuga. Sometimes Mahayuga is also written here. So Divya Yuga or Chaturyuga is what is Chaturyuga or Divya Yuga? It is simply a combination of 4 of these yugas. Now let us remember that Satyuga lasts for 17,28,000 years. I have given measurements in Indian systems. We follow the tradition of lakhs and thousands. So 17 lakhs 28,000 years. Treta Yuga 12 lakhs 96,000 years. Dwapar Yuga 8 lakhs 64,000 years, and Kali Yuga 4 lakh 32,000 years. That is a total of 43 lakh. If you total all of these, if you sum up all these years, it will come to 43 lakh 20,000 years. So a Chaturyuga or 8,000 years. So all the 4 yugas together, they make 23 lakh 20,000, 43 lakh 20,000 years. This is very important. We will come to this, what this actually is, what these 4 Mahayugas make, what is Chaturyuga makes. So the full age of Chaturyuga. And you can also see that with each yuga, the number of years are declining. In Satyuga, there are 17 lakh 28,000 years, and Treta Yuga is lesser number of years. Dwapar Yuga has lesser number of years, and Kali Yuga has exactly half of that Dwapar Yuga years. Kali Yuga has 4 lakh 32,000 years, and Dwapar has 8 lakh 64,000 years. So the numbers are declining. The number of years are declining with each year, with each yuga. Sorry. So this Chaturyuga cycle or Divyuga cycle is totally comprising of 43 lakh 20,000 years. We'll come to this figure. Please keep in mind this figure. We'll come to this figure, 43 lakh 20,000 years. Now, first of all, let us discuss what a Manmanta is. It is again another unit of time at macro level. So each Manu, Manvantar word is derived from Manu. Each Manu is said to have exists for 1 Manvantar. So Manvantar is basically age of 1 Manu, which is the period of time lasting 71 Divyugas. So how much Divyugas make 1 Manvantar? 71 Divyugas or Chaturyugas. So 1 Mahayuga, Chaturyuga or Divyuga makes 1 Manvantar, which is the age of 71 Divyugas make 1 Manvantar. So 71 times this Chaturyuga cycle repeats and it makes 1 Manvantar. And 1 Manu's time is said to be known as 1 Manvantar. So 1 Manvantar is the time of 1 Manu. So you are familiar with the name Manu. So Manu exists for roughly 30 crore 67 lakh 20,000 years. This is the time period of 1 Manu. Okay, so from yugas, individual yugas, Sat Yug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yug and Kali Yug, which has 4 lakh 30,000 years, we have moved to Manvanta Yuga, 4 Yuga, sir. Audible? Hello? Hello, am I audible? Confirm?
Yeah, you're audible. But yeah, in between it was breaking. Yeah, but you're audible now. Yeah. Can you try once more? Hello? Okay, we seem to have lost Kamalji once more. We'll wait for a minute while he rejoins. Yeah, Kamalji, you will have to unmute yourself and share your screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share once again. So now what is important here is that
Your screen
what
is
we learned here is that
yeah.
first of all there are
Can you share your screen, Kamalji? Yeah.
I have shared my screen. Is it not visible?
No, it is not yet visible.
So I will reshare, try to reshare it. Once again, I think we are facing network problem right now. So I'm going to share screen my once again. Am I audible, sir? Is the screen visible?
Yes, now it has come up. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now we were talking about so we talked about four yugas and how four yugas make one Mahayuga or Chaturyuga or Div Yuga, and 71 such Div Yugas makes one Manmantar. Manmantar is basically the life of one Manu. So the life of one Manu is 71 Div Yugas. That therefore, if you total the 71 Div Yugas, it comes to 30 crore 67,000 67 lakh 20,000 years. To more clearly understand the division of time known as a Manmantar or the lifespan of one Manu, the full explanation is provided herein. So first of all, the Manus appear for certain duration. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the name Manu because their present Manu is said to be Swayambhu Manu is said to be the father of the humanity. That's why we in Hindi are known as Manav, because we are said to be the offsprings of Manu. We are the descendants of Manu. So because of that, we all are called Manav. Manav comes from word Manu. So first of all the Manus appear for certain durations within a day of Brahma. Now we are moving to a further higher division of time from Yuga to Divya Yuga to Manvantar, and now we are moving towards a higher division of time. That is a Brahma, day of Brahma. So Brahma's day is calculated as 43 lakh 20,000 years, and exactly it was the time of one cycle of the four yugas. If you remember from the previous slide, I told you that this figure is very important. 43 lakh 20,000 years. It is very important because it is basically one day of Brahma, and all the Manu appear for certain durations within a day of Brahma. So within a day of Brahma, the Manus appear for a certain duration. And for 33 lakh 20,000 years times 1,000, if you will multiply this figure with 1,000, you will get this figure. 4 Arabs 32 lakhs human years. So if you multiply this figure, the figure of the Chaturyugas, with that of 1,000, you will get basically what you will get. You will get a day of a Brahma. And this is what my next heading is, Kalpa. So Kalpa is a day of Brahma, and it is called a Kalpa. It lasts for 1,000 of these cycles. Which cycles? This Chaturyuga cycle. So 1,000 Divya Yugas makes a day of Brahma, and it is known as Kalpa. So Kalpa is higher division of time than Manvantar. It is basically a day of Brahma. How it is calculated? It is 1,000 times or 1,000 cycles of Chaturyugas or Div Yugas or Mahayugas. So four yugas combined together give you the figure 43 lakh 20,000 years. Multiply it by 1,000, you will get this figure 4 Arab 32,000 lakhs. Sorry, 4 Arab 32 crores. So this is the day of Brahma. So Brahma also has a certain time. This is one day of Brahma. This is called a Kalpa. So Kalpa is a day of Brahma. It lasts for 1,000 of these cycles. Which cycles? The cycles of four yugas. And thus it is 4 Arabs 32 crores solar years. In terms of human years, we call it solar years. Human years are basically solar years. So 4 Arabs 32 crores human years makes 1 day of Brahma, and there are 14 Manus in each day of Brahma. So in 1 day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, and Manus are lasting for 71 Divyugas. So do the maths, you will come to the same conclusion. The slides are with you, the presentation is with you, the video will be recorded in YouTube also. You can calculate and you will come to the same conclusion. Exact figure of this will come. So 14 Manus in each day of Brahma. So in one Kalpa there are 14 Manus. So in one Kalpa, how many Manmantaras are there? 14 Manmantaras. So one Kalpa is made of 14 Manmantaras. And these 14 Manmantaras, they make a day of Brahma. So I'm sure I'm clear about this. So that I will move to next slide. Now, in the explanations of the, now I'm moving to next level now. I was till now talking about only human years and the division of time at macro level in terms of human years. But there are divine years also. The day, the years or the day of the Devas. So Deva word is derived from the word Div. Div means light, provider of light. So Devas have a different system of macro level of time. So let us study that also. In the explanation of measure of time found herein, one cycle of the 4 yugas together is 12,000 years of the Devas. So if you see the one cycle of 4 yugas, Chatur Yuga or one Divya Yuga, it together is makes 12,000 years of the Devas, and they are called divine years. So they are not human years, they are not solar years, they are called divine years. Okay, clear? So 4 cycles makes together 12,000 years of the Devas. So 43,20,000 years make 12,000 years of the Devas. One Chaturyuga or Divyuga makes 12,000 years of the Devas, called divine years. Each of these years is composed of 360 days. So the Devas years is also comprising of 360 days. So 1 year of Devas is equal to 360 days. And each of their days is equal to 1 human year. 1 day of 1 year of humans is equal to 1 day of Devas. 1 year of humans is equal to 1 solar year is equal to 1 day of Devas. And 1 year of Devas is equal to 360 days. That are basically divine days. Or you can say that 360 days multiplied by 365 days. That is 1 human year. So Krita Yuga is, do the maths, you get there. The maths. If one cycle yugas together is 1,000 years of the Devas, which is called divines. Each of these years is composed of 360 days, and each of their days is equal to 1 human year. Each of days is equal to 1 human year. So 1 human year makes the 1 day of Devas. So if we say 365 days of humans, we say it is 1 day for Devas. Okay, so I am now talking a macro level of time in terms of divine years. That work. Is 1,000 divine years in length. Dwapar Yuga is 2,000 divine years in length, and Kali is 1,000 divine years in length. Note that Krit Yuga is 4,000 divine years, and each succeeding Yuga is having 1,000 less years.
I think we lost Kamalji. We lost your screen.
There is a problem in connection. Am I busy? And my presentation visible now? Is my presentation visible?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was talking about the divine years, the day of the devas, the years of the devas, the divine years. So if you now forget about human years, now come to the divine years. So if you see Krita Yuga, it is 4,000 divine years. So each succeeding Yuga is, Treta Yuga is 3,000 divine years. Dwapar Yuga is 2,000. Each succeeding years, Yuga is 1,000 years less than that of the preceding year, preceding Yuga. So Dwapar Yuga is 2000 divine years and Kali Yuga is 1000 divine years long. And we already told that the divine years of Devas is equal to 12,000 years of the Devas. One cycle of 4 yugas. 12,000 years of Devas make one cycle of 4 yugas. But here we are saying that 4 plus 3, if you do the maths, it doesn't comes 12,000. 4 plus 3 means 7, plus 2, 9, plus 1. How much is 10? So we get 10,000 divine years only. So remaining 2,000 years are still there. What we said in our first line, we are contradicting ourselves. In terms of divine years, equal to 4,000 divine years. Treta Yuga is 3,000 divine years. Dwapar Yuga is 2,000 divine years. And Kali Yuga 1,000. So, therefore, each one has a quarter less than Krita or Satyuga. Now, we have to add something to it. Sandhya and Sandhyancha. Now, we will come to the concept of Sandhya and Sandhyancha. So, what you see here is that Sandhya and Sandhyancha, that in this way, each Yuga. Now, where does this 2,000 years went? Because when we calculated 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, it comes 10. So 2,000 years are still missing. We are contradicting our very first line, the 12,000 years of Devas. So the 2,000 years come in this way. Each Yuga is preceded by a period called Sandhya. So before each Yuga, there comes a period which is known as Sandhya, and it is equal to 400 divine years. And after each, a Sandhya which is as many 100 years in length as there are thousands of years in that particular Yuga. So if Krita Yuga has 4,000 divine years, the Sandhya of Krita Yuga will be of 400 years. Each Yuga is also followed by a period of time known as Sandhyansh. So the concept of Sandhya and Sandhyansh comes here. So if you will see that there are some breaks or periods between these divine years. These Krita Yuga is preceded by Sandhya of 400 years and succeeded by Sandhyansh of 400 years. The Treta Yuga is preceded by Sandhya of 300 divine years, because this line clearly states that each Yuga is followed by a period of time known as Sandhyansh, which is also as many hundreds of years in length as there are thousands of years in the Yuga. So the number of years in a Yuga, the divine years, you divide it by 10. You will get the Sandhya and Sandhyansh of that particular Yuga. So Krita Yuga, if you want to determine the Sandhya and Sandhyansh of Krita Yuga, you divide it by 10, you will get 400 years. You divide, if you want to determine it for Treta Yuga, divide it by 10. 3,000 divided by 10 is equal to 300. For Dwapar Yuga, Sandhya and Sandhyansh are of 200 years. For Krita Yuga or Kali Yuga, it is of only 100 years, Sandhya and Sandhyansh. So in this way, if Krita Yuga will see 4,000 divine years, Sandhya is 400 years, Sandhyansh is 400 divine years, and total is 4,800 divine years into 360 days. Why did I multiply it by 360 days? Because each of the year of Devas is comprised of 360 days. So clear? So if we multiply these 4,800 divine years by 360, we will get 17,28,000 human years. This is how divine years and human years are related. How we calculate human years from divine years. What is the relation between divine years and human years? The year of the Devas and year of the humans. So how much 40,000, 4,000 divine years or Krit Yuga is made up of 4,000 divine years, which and each Yuga is preceded by Sandhya and succeeded by Sandhyansh. And that is equal to the as many hundred of years in length as there are thousands of years in the Yuga. So at last we get total of 4,800. If you will calculate, you will get 4,000 plus 400 plus 400. It will give you 4,800 divine years. 4,800 divine years makes basically 360 days. It is known as 70, and it comes out to be 17,28,000 human years. This was precisely what we discussed in our macro level first slide, that Krit Yuga is of 17,28,000 human years. So I think this is clear by now. In the same way, we calculate this Sandhya and Sandhyansh by using the same principle, 3,300 divine years plus 300 divine years, it makes it 3,600 divine years. Multiplied by 360 days is important because each year of Devas is composed of 360 days. And their 1 day is equal to 1 human year. So if you follow this pattern, we'll get for Treta Yuga, we'll get 12,96,000 human years. Similarly, for Dwapar Yuga, we will have Sandhya and Sandhyansh of 200 years. And if we'll add this to that, we'll get 200 years, Sandhyansh 200 divine years, total 2,400 divine years. Multiplied by 360 days, you will get 8,64,000 human years. Now, similarly for Kali Yuga, you have 1,000 divine years. Sandhya will be of 100 divine years because divided by 10, you will get the Sandhya. Sandhyansh is for 100 divine years. Total is 1,200 divine years multiplied by 360 days. That is equal to 4,32,000 human years. And this is precisely what we calculated in the beginning, the time of Kali Yuga, which is given in our ancient text. This equals 43,20,000 human years or 12,000 divine years. So if you total these four, you will get 43,20,000 human years or 12,000 divine years. Simple. So 12,000 divine years or 12,000 years of Devas is equal to the 12,000 divine years is equal to the 1 Chaturyuga, 43,20,000 human years. That is 1 Divya Yuga, or the total of 4 yugas is equal to 12,000 divine years in one cycle of the 4 yugas, and 100 cycles, 1,000 cycles of these yugas. We already discussed that 1 kalpa is equal to, how much is it equal to? 1 kalpa is basically a day of Brahma, and it is equal to 43 crore 20 lakhs. And 1,000 cycles of these yugas equals a Chaturyuga at 1 crore 20 lakh divine years and 43 crores 20 lakhs human years in 1 day of Brahma. This was precisely what we calculated just in previous slide. That means that this is a kalp or a day of Brahma. So I have explained the division of at level using human years as well as divine years. So in divine years, you have to consider that there are breaks, Sandhya and Sandhyansh. Before each yuga, since the yugas are cyclic in nature, that after Kali Yuga, again comes Satyuga. So you have to take into consideration Sandhya and Sandhyansh for all the 4 yugas. And in terms of divine years, their number of years is that from Krita to your Kali Yuga, 40,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. And you add Sandhya and Sandhyansh of each yuga, you will multiply it by 360 days of, because 360 days of devas makes a divine year. So it will give you exactly in terms of human years how much value of yuga is. This is how divine years are related to human years, and how ultimately it makes a kalp or a day of Brahma. It is also
Kamalji, we
I once
lost.
again lost my
Yeah.
yes. I'm sharing my screen once again. I think I'm visible right now.
No, the screen is not.
Screen. mm, Now is it visible or not?
No, no, it's still not shared.
So let me reshare it. Now is it visible? I shared once again.
It is, I think it says the started sharing. It's not yet come up. Yeah, it's come up. Proceed.
Okay, now I was talking about this paragraph that we discussed how divine years are related to human years. Now it is also explained that Kali Yuga began with the disappearance of Lord Krishna from the planet. So once Lord Krishna disappeared from the planet, the Kali Yuga started. And you all know about how after the Pandavas went to the or died.
Kamalji, we lost you once more. Okay, I think he totally got dropped. We'll just wait for a minute for him to come back. Yeah, Kamalji, you'll have to reshare your screen. We lost you.
Yeah, I'm going to reshare once again. Is it visible?
Not it.
I think it must be visible right now. Is it visible, sir?
No, it's still coming up. Can you try once more?
So should I stop and present once again?
Yeah,
Share
yeah,
once again.
yeah.
So I'm going to share once again. Let us see what happens now. So I think I should keep my video, stop with my video so that there's no problem. Is it visible, sir, now?
It's still yet to come up. Yeah, now it's come up. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so I was talking about the that Kali Yuga started with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, and we all are familiar with the story that how after Pandavas, their successor was Maharaja Parikshit, and there is a story that with the ascension of Maharaja Parikshit, the Kali Yuga came, and how Kali Yuga tried to end the Dwapar Yuga and start its dominance. There's a story that then Raja Parikshit told him that no, you should not go, you should go to the gold, and Maharaja Parikshit did, and he allowed Kali Yuga to go to the gold only, not to impact any other thing. But Maharaja Parikshit was himself wearing that golden headdress, the Mukut, and he himself was impacted by Kali Yuga. So this story, I think we all are familiar with. Now our topic is not going into these stories, but what we have to study here is that now various astronomers and astrologers have calculated that the beginning of Kali Yuga is 3102 BCE. So before Common Era, 3000 years. And since Kali Yuga is described as being of 432,000 Earth years in length. So with 500 years and more already passed, because we are living in 21st century. So we are already in 2021. So 2000 years have passed, and approximately plus 3000, if we'll plus 3000 years will come to 5000 years. So Shri Krishna disappeared 4000 years ago from this earth. So Kali Yuga came 5000 years ago. Then the age of Kali Yuga has approximately 426 more years to go, because 5000 years have already passed. So this is the concept of Kali Yuga, which is given in our text. And I think we all are familiar with this concept that 5000 years of Kali Yuga have passed. And even I have heard even in rural areas, people said that now Kali Yuga has just come the tip of our nail. Just equal to the tip of nail, the Kali Yuga has come. There is still more years to go. So our text also tell us that there are 426,000 more years to go. We have only gone through 5,000 years of Kali Yuga. So subtract 5,000 from 432,000, you get 426,000 more years to go for Kali Yuga. Now moving to next slide. Now this is entirely different division of time, and please don't be confused about the Yuga system used here and what I have discussed earlier. This is another division of time, and I have written 60-year cycle, because this is another concept of Yuga which is explained below. 60-year cycle. Now Indians have also considered the cycle of 60 lunar years. Lunar year means 60 lunar years means the years which are measured according to the movement of moon. As per the lunar months, we have 60 lunar year cycle. And this 60 lunar year cycle, 60 Chandramasa year cycle, Chandrama months makes a year. And this 60 lunar years, the cycle of 60 lunar years, for reckoning time. This is also one of the method used here. This is usually used for predicting mundane events. So we'll discuss that what these mundane events are. We'll see that in next slide that in Vedic period, this system was closely connected with the performance of yajnas. So performance of yajnas was there, and this system was only used for those purposes. So mundane events, predicting mundane events. It was not used for horoscopy or predicting the jataks or natives horoscope or other things. It was used for mundane events. Now there are 60 years in one cycle. I already told you that this is a cycle of 60 lunar years. 60-year cycle is the heading. So 60 years in one cycle is again subdivided into 12 years, which is known as Yuga. So the period of 12 years is known as a Yuga. Note that the term Yuga used here differs from the term Yuga used earlier. This is one of the very ancient system which found mentioned in our ancient texts like Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Teti Brahmana, etc. We'll see next slides. I will give you references from those texts also. So the term Yuga here differs from the term Yuga used earlier. And each of these, there are 12 Yugas as per this 60 years cycle. 12 Yugas are there in this cycle. And these 12 Yugas, each Yuga is divided into 5 parts. Out of these 12 Yugas, each Yuga is divided into 5 parts. And we'll not go into the 12 Yugas. It will be very detailed discussion on these 12 Yugas, because each of these Yugas is owned by a deity. And there are a lot of texts which say that he is the deity of this is the deity of that Yuga, and this is the deity of that Yuga. Even as far as these words are concerned, there is also a lot of different opinions of different scholars. So every Yuga is of 5 parts. So 12 Yugas are there. And if you say, consider one Yuga, Let us take one yuga from these 12 yugas. So each yuga is of 5 parts. So the first part of each yuga is known as Samvatsar. The first year, sorry. First year is known as Samvatsar. The first year of each yuga is known as Prativatsar. Now divide it in 5 parts, and 12 into 5, you will get 60. So divide 60 into 5 parts. It will give you basically 12 yugas in each part. In each part, there are 12 yugas. Every yuga is of 5 parts. So every yuga has 5 parts. So each yuga has 5 parts, and the first year of each yuga is known as Samvatsar. First year of each yuga in second part is known as Prativatsar. First year of each yuga is known as Idavatsar. First year of each yuga is known as Anuvatsar. And in the fifth part, first year of each yuga is known as Idavatsar. This is Idavatsar, this is Idavatsar. So this is what is written in our ancient text. I will cite the references from where I got these information. The yuga period of 5 years, whose constituent years are called Samvatsara, Prativatsara, Idavatsara, Anuvatsara, and Idavatsara. Sorry, I am pronouncing it Idavatsara. It is Idavatsar. Anuvatsar and Idavatsar have been used since Vedic times. For example, if you see the Rig Veda 7.103.728, Samvatsara and Parivatsara are mentioned. So Samvatsara and Parivatsara are mentioned in Rig Veda. They too are mentioned. Samvatsara and Parivatsara. Similarly, in Taittiriya Samhita, reference 5.5.7.123, and Vajsneyi Samhita 27.45 and 30.16, and the Taittiriya Brahmana 3.4.11 and Taittiriya Brahmana 3.10.4, they give the names of all the 5 years. Although there is some variation in the names. So variations is always there. For example, Taittiriya Samhita calls them Samvatsar, Parivatsar, Idavatsar, Iduvatsar, and Vatsar respectively. And Vajsneyi Samhita and Taittiriya Brahmana calls them Samvatsar, Parivatsar, Idavatsar, Idavatsar, Iduvatsar, and Vatsar respectively. So there is some difference among the names as far as names are concerned. But one thing is clear, that all of them, they recon to this division of the 60-year cycle into 5 parts, each consisting of 12 yugas. Okay, so these 12 yugas, they are written in our ancient text. This system is not a mere civil calendar, but one whose purpose is highly religious one, that is of determining the proper times of Vedic rituals. So ancient Vedic seers and rishis and the priest at that time, particular time, they use this calendar, this particular division of time, to basically determine it has some higher purpose, religious one, that is proper time of Vedic rituals. And it is not only specifies the role of Jyotisha in the ritual yagya, but also describes the interdependence of Jyotish and yagya also. So Jyotish and yagya are dependent. So same system of Jyotish was followed by our Vedic people and during Vedic times, and our Vedas also testifies this. It also points out to a strong connection between the 5-year yoga concept and the ritual yagya. So this was precisely which I was intending to bring out here, that there is connection between the yoga concept and the ritual yagya. So this was the another level of another division of time at macro level, and I think I have finished it. And thank you so much for listening to me patiently, for hearing my views regarding what I had to say. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So now it's up to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kamalji, for this wonderful session. I think there are a lot of new points, especially from the old age.
Yeah, I think your opinions are very important for us, because we all learn from each other. So let us share our different opinions and remarks. And if anyone wants to know questions or any else, uh, now the mic is to you. So
Yes.
please.
People can unmute you. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions, or you can give your thoughts. To save time, right? We can go round robin. So maybe I'll start with Vijay Sharma. Vijay Sharma ji, if you have any comments, any feedback, please give it. Okay. Vijay ji, I think you're muted. I'm not sure if you're speaking. You have to unmute yourself and then talk. Or else, if somebody else wants to talk, just go ahead and mute and talk. Yeah, Vijay ji, go ahead. Yeah, I think you
No.
unmute. Yeah, now you're unmuted. Go ahead. Oh no, you got muted once more, Vijay ji. Yeah. Okay. Bhumika, do you want to go? Sonal ji, Surendra ji. Okay, I think people are having some difficulties with unmuting themselves.
Any questions from YouTube might be there, or if you have any suggestions, I will not dare to ask you question, dare to involve you in questions here, questioning me.
Questions, excellent presentation as such. Okay. So thank you once more for your wonderful presentation, and we wish you all the best, and we wish that you will continue doing more such webinars for us. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. No questions from YouTube.
No, I just see 2, 3 comments. That's all. I don't see any questions.
Okay. So no one is. I think one person has unmuted herself. Is
Yeah, yeah,
Sapna
yeah.
Shan.
No, no. I think
So if
Sapna
she
Shah
wants to ask,
is not there on audio. I don't know. Yeah, if she's on audio, yeah, she can go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, Sapna Shan, if you want to ask a question, you can go ahead. Sir, as far as you are concerned, any valuable suggestions or comments from your side?